I will say tonight, in terms of just looking at the entirety of the physicality of tonight's game and just the series, I mean, looking at who we could have played out of the play-in versus who we've been playing for the past 3 games, the Celtics, saying we, but the Celtics, Orlando. I'm right now. Just everybody's getting beat up in the playoffs. Every single team's getting beat up. I feel like Cleveland is maybe the one team that isn't beat up right now. Maybe I mean Oklahoma City, they over 29-point deficit they had to come back from last night. That was probably pretty tiring. But the Celtics, it feels like those first 2 games, it's like okay, they pull out these games. They're fairly easy wins. The first game is like okay, we run ahead of them in the second half, and then the second game, the Celtics they basically do the same thing. But this game 3, it's a very physical, tough series, and we've known that the entire time. And I just wonder, how the Celtics are going to come out next round. Obviously, we're going to be facing. No doubt the Celtics are going to win this series. Just saying. I mean, no, we all some of us had sweeps, and that's not going to happen anymore. But I'm not. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Everybody expected 5. I was trying to go against the grain, folks. Going against the grain, but a lot of people expected 5 from this
Right.
series, and I just wonder how the Celtics are going to look potentially next round when they either face the Knicks or the Pistons. That's a very physical series as well. We kind of think, oh, whoever's going to come out of that series could be pretty beat up. But hey, look at the Celtics right now. I mean, in their 3 games, particularly tonight, I think the Magic are showing a lot of flaws. Within the Celtics, and I think this is actually a good series. I think we said it last post game where the Celtics, you want to see that physicality a little bit early on and not see a team's who's just going to allow you to do whatever you
Right.
want. You want to see a team who's kind of going to challenge you. But I'll say Orlando. I mean, they're at a point where I mean the Celtics. It feels like they're getting beat up out there. I mean, look at just some of these shooting numbers from the Celtics. I mean, Kristaps Porzingis was 3 of 10 tonight. I mean,
Yeah.
Kristaps Porzingis
I
looks
mean,
like he
and
is
we're gonna.
actually struggling in this series. Peyton Pritchard, I mean, he can't get his shot off. 1 of 2 tonight in 25 minutes. That's ridiculous. Sam Hauser, he's not doing anything in this series. At 13 minutes tonight, 0 of 1. He hasn't hit a field goal the entire series. We're in game 3. We're going into game 4 on Sunday. Sam Hauser has not made a basket this series. So you just look at that, and from some of the other guys as well. Obviously, we had the Tatum injury happen, and Brown, he got in foul trouble tonight, and we've been talking about his knee. Kind of put that away a little bit last game, but you see the physical nature of this series, and some of the flaws in which the Orlando Magic are showing from the Celtics. I gotta say, this series has already been a little tougher than I would have expected. Uh, I think we're giving, if you look at what the Magic have done this series so far, I think they've actually done a pretty good job of matching up against the Celtics, even though it's 2-1. I mean, you think about that game too. It was a 9-point game. We never felt like the Celtics were going to lose, but the Magic were always up on the Celtics' heels. And Rob, you touched on it there, where the Magic, it feels like they've kind of dictated the pace of this series. They've kind of dictated what they want to do in the series. And the moments in which we've seen the Celtics win games, it's been brief moments. It's been moments in a third quarter where the Celtics get out and run in transition. They come up with turnovers and they get the crowd under them, say in games 1 or 2. And you see there's little moments in which the Celtics win the game, but I don't feel like the Celtics are dictating the series in any manner whatsoever. And that has a lot to
Right.
do with Orlando's physicality and just the way Orlando is trying to play in this series and their game plan. And I just from the Celtics perspective, after this game 3, we have to see a better showing on Sunday. And we've seen this team respond before. So there's nothing that puts a doubt in me that they won't. That
Right.
being said, they have to on Sunday. Right now, I mean, the first 2 games, game 1 was better than game 2, but game 2, you of course looked at it and went, well, no Jason Tatum in the lineup. That's just going to be a different game. But then game 3, they come out, and it just feels like all the themes in which the Celtics were negating and taking away from the Magic in games 1 and 2, they arose again yet in game 3, and the Magic instead of it just breaking even in some of these categories, right? Or instead of the Celtics actually having an advantage, the Magic come out in game 3 and they have the advantage. And it's in a game too where the Celtics, you look at the low scoring. I mean, the Celtics at a certain point. Here, let me flash this up on screen real quick. No, because this tweet doesn't matter. It's going to be a lot. It was going to be going along with the Celtics win, but the Magic win probability peaked at 95.6%, up 12 with 7 minutes left. Now, here's the thing. You see there, 6:20 left in the game, 40 seconds later. 40 seconds later, the score was down to 6. The Celtics had 6.5 minutes left in this game. 6.5 minutes left in this game to make up a 6 point deficit against a team that simply doesn't score over 100 points. And the Celtics were unable to do that tonight. 11 points in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, they have half a quarter to make up what they did terribly in that third quarter, and they just can't get the job done. And I'll say, this is definitely out of all the, Rob, you already mentioned, out of all the playoff games the Celtics have lost with this core, this is easily the worst one. Easily, by
Right.
far, because you had a chance to win this game. You probably should have won this game if you're the Celtics up 10 at halftime against a team that can't score over 100, and you're already halfway to 100 if you're the C's. All these other games, yeah, the other teams come out blazing, and this was a spot in which you could say, yes, the Magic probably put up their best effort of the series, knowing, okay, our season's kind of on the line here tonight. And furthermore, they're at home. The role players just have way more confidence at home. You could tell there was a different energy from that team, period. But this is a game in which the Celtics could have won in the end, and it was a spot in which they faced adversity. They could have been the resilient team, and they just weren't down the stretch. And it's unfortunate because it's just a bucket. I mean, it's 1 3-pointer. And let's mention that too tonight. The Celtics, 27 threes taken tonight, 27 out of 74 shots. That is uncharacteristic for the Celtics.
Right.
9 of 27
Well,
from the floor. And that's where you want to beat Orlando. Look, 8 of 32 for Orlando. Those are the kind of margins Orlando wants to work in. And those are the kind of margins you have to put in
right.
favor of yourself if you're the Celtics, because I mean, we've talked about it in nauseam. The Celtics, they in this series, well, I should say the Magic in this series, they're the team who need the more opportunities. They need more opportunities in order to win these games. And the Celtics in this game 3, in that second half, I don't know how you could have given the Orlando Magic more opportunities if you're the Celtics the way they played.
And you know what? This wasn't Orlando's best punch. It just wasn't. And uh, you are still not getting anything out of anyone else. Wendell Carter had himself a nice game with a double-double, 10 points, 12 rebounds. But you didn't get anything out of KCP. You got nothing out of Corey Joseph. You got nothing out of Cole Anthony. Anthony Black gave you a solid 9 points. He really was contributing in the other assets of the game. But this wasn't Orlando's best punch. This wasn't like a haymaker. Orlando is going to swing on you. They're going to come out firing. Like, no, this was in Orlando. They scored 95 points. I mean, they scored 95 points in a game in which Franz and Paulo, you did your job. Yeah, they had 32 and 29. They shot under 40% or 40%. Each of them. I mean, Paulo was 23% from behind the arc. You managed to get both of them to be a minus in the box minus. In some way, somehow, you got Paulo to turn the ball over 4 times. And somehow you managed to drop this game. And I mean, it is apparent here in the lead tracker, where here comes Boston. Largest lead of the night was 11 in that start of that third quarter. And it just, nothing changed. And obviously that 11 points in that third quarter swung, and you're sitting there going into the fourth down 3 points, thinking to yourself, how are we down 3 points? As if Boston just kind of shows up in this fourth quarter, we're going to be in the clear and we're going to get that sea of green to come back, right? Not at all. It was just absolutely putrid down the stretch, guys. And, you look at this game, and I'm almost tempted to say this wasn't Orlando's best shot. And if Boston doesn't go a different direction from an offensive standpoint, Orlando has every right to sit here and think they could make this a series. This could get pushed one extra game. We could see, and I say that, and I will say this. Boston is tough to beat just once, right? I mean, Orlando did need some things to really go their way down the stretch to pull out this win. It's tough to beat Boston one time. It's even harder to beat them 2 times in a row. And that's kind of like when you look at it because again, the playoffs are a chess match, right? So you're thinking Boston comes out, they handle business at home. They lose a game 3. That's where their chess match is played. Can you beat us again? Because if you can't, right, we're going to come out ready to go for game 4. Just like that, Boston finds themselves up 3-1. And all of this game 3, right, all this game 3 hoopla means absolutely nothing. And that's the interesting part of the series. How is Boston going to respond? Are they going to show up in game 4 ready to control this series and take this thing back up 3-1 back to Boston?
Am I mistaken? Let me see here. So the whole season, even though the Celtics went on their little 500 tangent in the middle portion of the season, I think our only back-to-back loss scenarios this year, it was Orlando December 23rd and then Philly December 25th, unfortunately on Christmas, and then it was Detroit and Cleveland at the end of February there. I think those were the only 2 times in which the Celtics lost back-to-back games this season. I might be wrong. There might be more occasions. If I'm not, I'm not really sure. I know all I know is though the stat is very in the Celtics. It favors the Celtics when it comes to the Celtics coming off of a loss. I mean, the Celtics have been the best team in the NBA coming off a loss this season. Essentially, maybe you could say Oklahoma City or Cleveland, or maybe they have better records, but one of the 3 teams.